Story time. One time, this is about the my mom who kept on. This is about my best friend who kept on like fucking trying to kill me because I unfriended her and blocked her, and said she's now my ex friend. So yeah, this is one time. Okay, so she's a friend of mine that she's literally like 7. She used to be 7 in first grade. We used to be so much. We used to be a lot of good friends because we both loved cats. But then I love puppies, and now, and she got mad. But then she got over it because I told her I like cats, even dogs. So she was okay with that. But then one time, one time she was sad because her family was gonna kick her out of her home, even her brother. That made her sad. Then she had no place to live. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But they said they were, but they told the teacher, and the teacher said, okay, sure, you will take care of her. I don't know, but the brother can't be in the same school because he's already in college. So then when she was like, when she was 8, I told her I'm 7, and she said, no, we're still friends, and I was like, no, I didn't meant that. Of course I wouldn't offend you, but I have a new friend right now. Her name's Caitlin. She has black skin, but it's okay, and because black matters, you know. And she's like so mad, but I don't really blame her, because I mean she is white, so yeah. But I said, don't worry, it's okay. Don't really do that to other people. She was like pretty mad, and she said, oh, fine, okay. But then one time me and Caitlin started getting along very well, and then Samantha and Caitlin started fighting over like seats around me in lunch, or over carpet spots around me and next to me. They and they wanted to be like talk at the same time because they fought. Both of them were a bad influence for me, and I said, no, you both guys are not a bad influence. You're just making a bad influence on me. So, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Then we decided to try to talk, but then they were starting to fight again, which made me so annoyed that I decided to say, I need to use the bathroom. And yeah. And then I was like in the bathroom, but then I went to another seat at lunch without them knowing, and stuff. Then I noticed that they were about to go to the bathroom and the bathroom was near my side of where I was, of my new spot. So I decided to hide under the table, even though it was very dirty. It had bananas all over. Kids were literally fucking kicking their legs under the table to make the table move. I thought the fucking table wouldn't flip, but it fucking almost flipped. It fucking almost flipped, and they would saw me under a fucking dirty table, which is so embarrassing. And if they saw me, they would bully at me, because those kids were literally Kotel and his friends who bully me. And it was and they always bully me. They fucking bully me that every time I had to shove them off. They were so mad when I shoved them off usually sometimes. But I don't blame it on me. Oh my god, that was so close that I almost died. Oh my gosh. one time, I decided to find Caitlin in my message list. Then one time Samantha got so mad that she decided to say block her at school. And I said no. I said why? She said it's because she's a bad influence. And I said stop saying she's a bad influence. She's not. And I was so serious. Then that she decided to wear a cute outfit, the same outfit as me at school. Like we were twins. And then they're like, oh my gosh, is that your twin? Is Samantha your really twin sister? And I'm like, wait, what? No, I can't just have like three sisters. And plus my mom's never said I had a sister. Never said I had a lost sister or anything. Because if we had a lost sister, she would usually come here. And she's like, and Caitlin was like, oh my gosh, yeah. That we were so sus and the new girl, but she had like and she said, oh my gosh, we're twins. And I said, no, we are not. And she's like, what do you mean? I have a new lost sister, and she kind of looks like you. And then I'm like, wait, what? And then I saw it, and then she looked at me. Then I looked at the poster, and it had me on the face. Even in Roblox games. And I was like, and when my parents picked me up from school, I showed them the flyer. They were so fucking shocked, and they said, wait, you actually don't have a twin sister, for real? And then I was like so shocked that I decided to like fucking tell them to make me move somewhere. And plus where I was, that was actually in Manhattan, in Ecuador, where I used to live. Like for fucking. And then for a fucking reason, something happened, which was not okay. Samantha was there where I lived, where I now live. And yeah. And it creeped me out. How does she do that? All I did was text her at night. Then she texted me at my new school. She said, these fucking people are so annoying, or block them. Then she named out the ones that I had on my text. It freaked me out so much. It was so fucking weird. But then for a fucking reason, I just saw her at school, and she just looked like me, and then I decided to rip off her wig, because it was so annoying how she was trying to pretend to be me. And I did not like that. My mom says she was a bad influence for me, that she said I had to block her. And I said, why? She said she's a bad influence for me. That's why. Because she's obsessed with me. She said, doesn't she protect you at school? And like, so much? I mean, she doesn't have to protect you every day. And I'm like, yeah, but she protects me every day, a lot. And I don't know why. She just like does that, Mom. And then she's like, "Wait, ¿por qué? Chucha madre." She said a bad word in front of me when I was 8, and then when I was 6, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Nothing, darling," and just left. And just left me somewhere else, and just left me in the living room. to calm down about all this to this situation. And I was like so sassy for that, and it made no sense for me. And I did not know what she was hiding. So yeah. It made no sense. So then one time I was at school, my mom was in the school, and she said, come, we are filling the paper so you can go home early." And she said, and I'm like, why do that, Mom? And then she's like, the thing you were talking about yesterday. And I was like, oh. And that's when I said, but why? She's not a bad influence. And then when I said that, it made my friend freak out. And she's like, wait, what? And I'm like, nothing. She doesn't mean you. And she's like, oh, okay. Then I realized Kaylin was in the class, and I'm Zoja. And she's like, how dare you betray me? And I'm like, and I'm like, no, I didn't betray you. It's just that Samantha's in the same class. I don't know why. And she's like, oh, right. Samantha moved here with you. And I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. Didn't you not remember? She brought her to the airport to the Bahamas. And then I'm like, wait, what? I do not. And then I realized she dressed up in a disguise as an old man next to me with my parents. I was fucking scared. You know why? Because I thought that was my grandpa. Because he said that he would be here to visit me. He speaks Spanish though. And I know some Spanish, but not all of it. I was fucking scared because literally my friend just was dressed up as an old man. My grandpa was literally in her suit. It scared me. It scared me so much. That I decided to leave the classroom and go with my mom. But then when I was about to, my Samantha grabbed my hand. Snatched it, and tried to kill me. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't. And then she's like, wait, no, please. And I'm like, nah, I'm sorry, girl. And then when it was like the afternoon, like 1 p.m., school ended. I knew that. And then then Samantha was like, oh, hey, when she texted me with ... And I'm like, okay. And then I said, my mom thinks you're a bad influence for me. I locked the door because I knew you would kill her. And then I'm like, then she's like, wait, what? I would never. And I'm like, yeah, you will, because you're my best friend. And yeah. But then one time she had a knife emoji in the text, and I was like so scared. And I'm like, wait, why did you put that emoji? And I'm like, and in the text, and she's like, oh, no reason. I'm just gonna cut some tomatoes. And that scared me because she doesn't even know how to cook. And yeah, that scared me so much. I could hardly breathe. One time she was in the game of Roblox. We were playing an obby. We were playing an obby called Tower of Heck, and she joined she joined me, and I was like wondering how did she know where I am, because I didn't friend her in Roblox obbies. And that scared me so much that I decided to talk about it. And I'm like, wait, how did you find me? And I'm like, and she's like, oh, no reason. And I just wanted to be here. And I'm so scared that I decided to leave the game and come back, rejoin to a new server. But then she was right there, which I was scared of her. I was scared of her, and I decided to tell my mom that she was a bad influence. And she said, I told you, which scared me because I did not know that she was a bad influence. That I decided to say at school that we can't be friends anymore, and P.S. I'm moving to the Bronx, New York. And then when I told her yesterday at school, she was like, no. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And I did not know why she was so sad. Which kept on scaring me. And she said, I hope we can visit someday. And we said, and I said that we can't be friends anymore. You know why? Because she was fucking scary. And she said, why am I scary? And then I said, because my mom thinks you're a bad influence. And also you put a knife emoji literally on my text. And that scared me too. So, and I'm like, yeah. So yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, please don't move somewhere else that I can't go. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, girl. But you a bad influence. Kaylin is not a bad influence. She's calm. And she also likes puppies too. And she's like, wait, you don't like cats anymore? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, girl. But then I was about to get a cat, and I like cats. Then she found out. She fucking found out. But in her text, I secretly texted her, by the way, even though my mom said to block her. And I said, Ma. And then my mom found out, and then she blocked her. But she didn't know that but there was like a blocker, a B, on top of my screen of text, and then she said, would you, and then there was my blocked friend account, Samantha, would you like, and it said, would you, and I clicked her, and it said, would you like to unblock this girl to be your friend again? And I'm like, yes. And my mom didn't find out for some fucking reason. I don't know. I did not know. So, yeah. That's my story. Okay, so like for part 2. Part 2 of wait, like for part 2 just that. Part 2 of how my friend wanted to kill everyone, not so she can be the only best friend of mine. Well, except for my family. Though, because she knew I would be sad in front and then her. So, yeah. After saying that she was a bad influence, I went to the air. After I moved. After I moved, I was fucking scared because I thought that Samantha was gonna be there. Yes, correct. She was gonna be there, and I was fucking mad, and I was fucking scared. Fucking scared that I decided to yeah. Yeah. I decided to just, I don't know, maybe not friend her and stuff. And yeah. And yeah. And yeah. And yeah. So after, we still text though. But then she was at the door and literally was knocking. I was fucking scared because I did not know. And there was a knock on the door, and then my mom's like, "Who could that be? Can you answer the door? I'm knitting, and your sister is cooking, and your dad is sleeping, and I don't want to wake him up because he was just at work, and he's tired." So then I answered the door, and then there she was, my friend, Samantha. I did not know how she got there, but yeah, because she did not even know my address. I didn't even tell her the address, which was creepy because she was never near me. She's not even neighbors. I never even saw her brother. Get out of the entrance or anything for COVID. She was outside the door when COVID came, which was scary, and I did not know what to do because yeah. Which was very creepy because I did not know what to do. And when I did not know what to do, she said hello, and she was wearing a white dress with black paint on it and a bit of red paint. And I thought it was tomato juice because she said she was making tomato stuff on the Texas and stuff. And she had her phone with me and her phone with her and a teddy bear, which made no sense. So, yeah. And that was creepy, scary. It didn't make no sense why. And it made no sense why she was going that way. It made no sense, actually. So when I said, come in, nervously, and then I acted nice and stuff, and then my family looked at her. They were like so shocked, and then they said, and then my mom and dad said, can we talk for you for a while, honey? And then I'm like, yes, please. And then they're like, why did you why did you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom. Okay, I'm sorry, Mom. She's just here. And I just opened the door and then she's here. Okay. And I'm like, and I'm like, wait. She's like, wait, what? Wait, what the? And then, what the heck? And then she's like, girl, why? He's like, why? And then I said, I had to let her in. You know, and she's like, wait, why? And I said, because she would kill you guys. And then I'm like, and then what? And then my mom said, where is she? And then I'm like, oh, she's just in her room. And then she said, my room? No. What if she rips the bed? And I'm like, oh, right. Just calmly stuff. And yeah. And she said, why say calmly? And then I'm like, I don't know. And then I did not know that would happen. And that's when my mom was very mad at me. Then my dad said, calm down. It's just something. It's just someone in the house who's creepy and who's obsessed with our dog. And then and they were very scared, and every time when she left, they always locked me in my bedroom in the safe of mine, which was very big and had a lot of room. It had a lot of food and stuff. And I did not know why my mom was doing that. It made no sense. And I did not know why she wanted that, but every time she came in, I'd get out of the safe, and then she's like, get out of the safe, honey. It's your friend. And Samantha said, yep, correct. And then but you should say BF. And then I'm like so scared, and I was like, yeah. And I'm like, then she's like turning to me. So she's like, oh, hi, BFF. And then I'm like, what? Hey. And then, yeah. And then I'm scared. And I'm scared, freaking scared. I said, hey, let's play with our toys. And she's like, oh, sure. And I'm like, and then one time I invited Caitlin. Then I said, oh, I'm getting a call. Ding, ding, ding. I made fake noises. Okay. I made fake noises, and it worked for her. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I got a call, and then I phone numbered Caitlin. And it said, Caitlin, please meet me at my house. Like, please, you have my address. Samantha's here, and she's literally going crazy. She is obsessed with me so much. And then I told her. She's like, wait, what? Why? And she's like, I don't know. She's just obsessed with me. And then I'm like, then she's like, okay, I'll be right there immediately. And then she came already, and I said, oh my God, that was fast. And then when Samantha saw the door, she said, oh, Caitlin. And then I'm like, hey. Then she's like, oh, hey, Samantha, I'm gonna go now. And then I'm like, no. And then, no, come on, let's play. And then I'm like, and she's like, oh, it's okay, best friend. She could just go with her mom. I mean, isn't that okay with you? And then I'm like, yeah, but wouldn't we want to sleep over? And she said, oh, okay. She knew I was planning something, and I was so scared because I knew she would know. And I was so scared. And that was very scary how she known. And yeah. Which made no sense. And I was so scared that I decided to lock the door. So my friend Caitlin wouldn't escape, and I was living in New York City, Bronx. Then Samantha's hair turned brown to black, and it scared me so much. I'm like, that Caitlin said, oh, what happened to your hair? And she's like, oh, nothing, Caitlin, oh, nothing. But then I knew it was something, and then I'm like, oh, maybe you need a moment? And she's like, oh, yeah, maybe I need a moment alone with you. Because you're pretty. And then I'm like, maybe you need a moment alone without me. And she's like, oh, you don't like me as your friend? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but it's just that maybe you need time alone. And she's like, oh, okay, good friends sometimes. I mean, we're always friends, right? I mean, I protect you. And I'm like, yeah, you do. So I think you better need time alone. I mean, you did everything for me sometimes. And then I'm like, she's like, oh yeah, right. I guess I will get some rest. And she knew I was up to something, that she had like a creepy face on when she left. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, she's finally left. And yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, she is. Oh my God, so finally that girl's gone. And I'm like, wait, what is up with her? I don't not know why. What is up with her? And Ken's like, yeah, I don't know why. What is she doing? I think she's not obsessed with me. Because she had a mad face on when she looked at me when she left. And I'm like, wait, why? Wait, what? And I'm like, she's like, and then she's like, and then I decided to lock the bathroom door because she was in there, and she's like, hey, who let me in? And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to unlock it. And yeah, and that made me so scared. That made me so scared that I decided to literally freaking unlock it. And I was like, oh, there. And she's like having a mad she was having a creepy good face, and she literally, and her teeth looked like a vampire, a freaking vampire, which scared me so much. And I said, oh, maybe what happened to you, girl? What happened to you? Your hair and your eyes, because her eyes were red. And then I was like, oh my god, what's happening? And then she's like, oh, sorry, friend, where were we? And then I'm like, I was talking to you. And she's like, oh yeah, right, right. And that scared me so much that I decided to block her in my friend request. And she's like, wait, why did you block me? And I said, I don't know, let me unblock you again. And I'm like, oh no, it won't let me. What a shame. I mean, at least we can meet each other at school. And I'm like so scared that I decided to, and she said, oh, okay. And then she grindly trusted me with a grin. And then I'm like so scared. And then I'm like, oh, girl, maybe me and Caitlin need to talk. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I'm like so scared, and I'm running and dragging Caitlin to the bathroom door. And she's like, wait, what? Okay, what did you need to talk about? And I'm like, her eyes turned red. That's why. Did you not even notice her eyes? And I'm like, and then she looks again, peeks out through the door while she's waiting outside. And she's like, oh my gosh, now I notice. And that was so scary. And yeah, like for part 2. Part 2 of my BFF trying to kill everyone to be my best friend except for my parents, of course, because I'll break my heart and unblock her. She was so scared that so she was so scared, Kaylin, of course. She was so scared that I just decided to drag her into the bathroom, and I was like so scared. And I was so scared of her. I'm so scared of her. And she's like, what do we do? And then, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. And then she is scared. And I'm like, you just gave me an idea. And I'm like, maybe we can get her some far away, since she is scared of everything, and we can put you far away from her. And she's like, no, that wouldn't work because she knows your address every time. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. And I'm like, she was so scared that she decided to fucking run to the door. And I said, oops, I locked it. And then I'm like, unlock it then. And then she's like, unlock it then. And she's like, no. And I'm like, no, I need your help. And then she's like, oh my god, fine. And yeah. And I was like so scared. And I was so scared and I said, I'm so scared of her. Please help me. Do you want me to die? And I'm like, and she's like, oh my gosh, no. Okay, fine, I'll help you. And that was so creepy. She's so creepy that she might cut off my head or something. And Kaylin said, wait, she's obsessed with you. Why would she? And she didn't kill you alive. And she doesn't even have a knife in her pocket. And I'm like, yeah, me. And wait, but why is she the only one that's mad with me and not obsessed with me? And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe she wants to kill you because you're my second best friend. Like, you're my number one best friend now. And then she's like, oh yeah, right. And then I'm like, yeah, see? And she said, I have a big brain. And then I'm like, thanks. But then we had to go we have to go, girl, because we can't just keep on laughing around because literally she's out there and she might hear us. And I'm like so scared. And yeah, we just and also we don't have our plane tickets anymore. Like your family. And she's like that. And I'm like, yeah, so we can't really move somewhere. And she's like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, we just did that. Like for part 2. Part 2 of my friend trying to kill all of my other friends, part three of my friends trying to kill all of my other friends to be my only friend except for my family. Oh God. Okay. So this is what it was about. My friend, so when we get out of the bathroom, she said, my Samantha was like, "Oh, you're finally here. I heard some talking, but it's okay." And then she grinned like a vampire. She had vampire teeth, and that scared me so much, even Caitlin, that we were shivering. And she's like, "Why are you shivering, best friends?" And then I'm like, "Oh, it's just that it's so cold in here. It's so cold." I said that when it's like literally summer, and then I'm like, "Oh," and then she's like, "Wait, wait, but it's summer. Why would you feel cold?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, when we met, we talked about how we were cold in summer, and she knows I'm weird, that I usually do stuff that's weird." And she said, "Oh, okay." And she didn't even suspect a thing, for real. That in the ending, she literally trusts us, and yeah, and it was a happily ever after. So, and then that made me like phew, and then and out of sweat, and that scared me so much that when we went to the living room and watched the movie, we were freaked out. Me and Caitlin were so freaked out that we just screamed. But then she's like, "Wait, why did you scream at me?" And then I'm like, and we're like, but we realized we were watching a haunted movie. It's because it's haunted, the movie. And then we're like, "Oh, okay." And then she just kept on watching, and she's like, "I like the character of the doll who tries to kill everyone and their friends, her friends, so she can keep all the friend, her only friend that she had first." And I'm like so scared, like, and I feel like she was gonna do that to Caitlin, and I'm like, yeah, maybe. And that scared me so much that I was like freaking scared, and I'm like, maybe let's play a game. And then we were like on Roblox, gonna play Tower of Fun, and then like, and they were right there. We friended her, but we had to friend her, and then we saw Bumble right there because it was like October stuff. I don't know, and that scared me so much. And yeah, so yeah, guys, I'm not gonna be recording right now. So yeah, and yeah, bye. And yeah, bye.